Hello. Nice. 2 minutes. You speak English?
Yes.
Yes, you are Mexican.
No.
No. No. You're American.
Yeah.
Really? Wow. I would not have guessed that.
My dad's from the Philippines.
Ah, okay. That's why. What are you doing in Mexico City?
I live here.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. And how long?
Like 2 years now.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
What
Yeah, me
about
too.
you?
2 years.
Oh wow,
I've been
cool,
here.
cool,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
What do you do?
I'm gonna be honest with you, okay? It's not like OnlyFans or weird shit like that. Okay.
Okay.
We do dating coaching. So,
Dating coaching
yeah.
for expats
See.
to date Mexicans?
Yes. Yeah.
No
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Nice.
It's
Nice.
kind of interesting. Loki could be very controversial, but interesting.
Yes. How do you like Mexico?
I love it. I never want to leave.
Mhm. Anyway, I'll let you get going. I
Okay.
did think you were very cute,
Thank
so
you.
I had to say hi. Like that was my MO for coming up.
Okay, cool. You don't even want to know my name or anything?
I was gonna ask you your name. Yeah, yeah. I was gonna just walk away.
I'm Ave.
Ave.
Ave Maria, yeah.
Ave Maria. It's a very pretty name.
Thank you.
I've never heard that name. I'm Joel.
Joel.
Yeah.
Great
Very
name.
thanks. Thanks. All right, guys. Welcome back to Mexpat Dating. Today we're gonna be talking about why Mexico City is an absolute gem for dating and how it can really help expedite your cold approach and your whole dating journey a lot faster than the States. By the end of this video, you should have a better understanding of why Mexico is so great and why so many guys are choosing to come down here to date versus some of the other hotspot countries like Colombia, Thailand, the Philippines, even Poland, and also why easy doesn't necessarily mean bad. So as you can see by the initial approach, I did my classic opener, asked her where she's from, and this girl turned out to be from America. So you have like a Midwest vibe.
Okay,
So
insulting.
offended. Wow.
Insulting. No, I'm from Texas.
Texas. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Nice. Nice. I'm from the West.
Okay.
I'm from.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's all right.
No shame.
Why do you think I left? Like,
Where in the Midwest are you from?
take a guess.
Wisconsin or Illinois?
I'm Wisconsin.
Wow.
Yeah, good job. Nice. That's good. This is a really cool thing about coming to Mexico City, guys, is you are going to meet feminine American women. When she said she was American, my first thought was like, all right, man, this is going to go one of two ways, but I had a feeling it was going to go very well. And as you can hear by some of these examples here, she's very sweet. She was very receptive. She was very open. And this is just something you don't find in America. Maybe you're a guy that's just sick and tired of working so hard in the USA or Canada and really trying to level up your dating life, but you're finding it's just not working out. And you're getting approaches potentially like this.
Oh, hello. Hello. Excuse me. Oh, yeah.
The magic of Mexico City is you rarely get experiences like this. If you're a guy really starting to focus on his dating life, you're going to get a lot of wins here that are going to give you that confidence that you are an attractive guy, that you can build a great dating life, even though it might seem where you're at right now in the US that that's not possible. And I know that firsthand because I did my first 500 approaches in the US. I lived in Wisconsin, Madison, Wisconsin specific, small liberal town, and it was like pulling teeth. So diving into this approach here, as you can see, I did my traditional opener. Hey, do you speak English? Hello. Nice. 2 minutes. You speak English?
Yes.
Turns out she did. And I instantly realized, hey, she's not Mexican for sure. Very cute, actually, a lot cuter than what I thought when I initially was going to go and talk to her. But instantly I felt attraction towards her. Funny enough, she was from the US. She was from Texas. And we really connected on the fact that both of us were expats living in Mexico. There's almost a mutual respect there. Like, hey, I kind of know why you're here and I get it. We're not going to talk about it, but I get it. And so went in right into assumptions. You're Gen Z then, aren't you? Yeah, okay. You have
Like
a mature...
I'm on the cusp.
So you're like, let me guess, 24.
I'm 26.
26, okay. Because you have like a mature energy to you, which is a good thing. You're not like a typical Gen Z where like
Yeah.
you're having a conversation, you're like, just like, let me like keep being on my phone.
Yeah,
I'm
don't
trying
worry.
to talk to you.
I'm disgustingly addicted to Instagram.
Okay, you
so-
are. Okay. And this is a really important piece to cold approach, guys, and really having successful cold approach that you can date the women you actually want is learning how to create a flirty vibe with a woman. And a big mistake we see a lot of guys make is they ask too many questions. It becomes like an interview, and not just like any interview, like a boring interview. It's very platonic, it's very dry. And this is what we help guys specifically overcome in cold approach, is learning how to create a strong flirtatious vibe, a masculine man to woman vibe. And the way that I found to be the most effective was using assumptions. Hey, I was there too, guys. I had done like 7 approaches and they were all I'd get a number here and there, and I was just like, man, I feel like I'm freaking. What am I doing wrong? And at one point, I realized it was because I wasn't being flirty enough, but I didn't know how to flirt. And I literally thought, hey, this might just not be something I ever learn how to do. I might be a guy that has to date a girl that just is like super boring and like likes books. And it was quite depressing, to be honest. Fortunately enough, by the grace of the universe, I met a guy who was also doing cold approach. He coaches in Poland, and we became good friends. And he really taught me the power of assumptions. This is Tim right here, great guy, good friend of mine. And from the minute I started doing that, I got instant results. Again, 700 approaches in, I started making assumptions, and I got 5 numbers from beautiful Polish girls that day, and they all responded to me, and I couldn't believe it. And it's the only thing I did different was start assuming things about her instead of asking about her. You're like a cat, aren't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am.
To mój fit vibra. Yeah. I to mój pequeña. So that's your advice. Boom, assumption, assumption, assumption. And this will help you guys wherever you are, whether you're in Mexico or in the United States. Making assumptions is going to improve your cold approach. That's absolutely something you can take away from this video and apply right away to your own dating life. Even on dates too, it's going to make a huge impact in creating a memorable first date, creating the spark, getting her laughing, getting her intriguing you, because what it shows is that you understand women, you understand her, even though you don't even know her really. And one of the magical parts about Mexico City is there's so many feminine women. So they love this. They love when you are stepping into your masculine frame, when you are flirty, when you are doing things that in the States, you would get like, oh, wow, he's trying to game me, right? He's trying to pick me. Like, I know what you're doing, right? Yeah, the girls here know what you're doing, and they love it because they want to connect with men. They are feminine women that want to have a masculine guy in their life. And if you're a guy that is looking for a long-term relationship, I could not recommend Mexico City enough. Obviously, as you guys know, when you think about Latin America and dating and expats and passport bros, you think about Colombia, Medellin, Bogota, and it makes sense. There's a lot of really beautiful women there. A lot of women that, are your typical like Instagram hot looking girls. What a lot of guys miss though is that it's not going to be just a cakewalk. You don't just go down there and magically girls are just going to come to you. And in fact, what a lot of guys find is because the culture is very, very heavily focused and built around escortation, a lot of the girls are working girls, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just how the culture is. If you're a pretty girl that grew up in Colombia, your parents raise you to eventually extract money from a rich guy and be able to provide for the family. And especially gringos are a great target for that. So a lot of guys think they're going to go down there and meet their dream girl, and they end up just meeting girls on shift, you could say. And it's also very dangerous. We have a buddy, for privacy, I'm going to say Billy. He went to Medellin recently and he got wrecked, man. He went to this club. All these guys surrounded him and they're like, you can't leave until you give us $5,000. They had guns on him. Like his bank account wasn't working. Like he couldn't make the transfer. So we had to call like one of our buddies to call another buddy to wire the money. And he's just like, dude, I'm not going back there. Like, screw that. So you do not get that in Mexico City, which is fantastic. There are dangerous spots of Mexico, 100%. Where we are, though, we're in a very safe place. We're in a very, you could say, a higher end neighborhood. So as long as you mind your business, because there are, you will see a blackout SUV drive through every once in a while. As long as you mind your own business, so will they. And then if you come down here and work with us, we're going to help you find the spot that's going to be best for what the kind of girl you're looking for and the kind of environment. If you like more of the upscale vibe where Jaron and I live, that's Polanco. If you like more of the hipster, older buildings, that's Condesa or Roma Norte, both great spots to live. And you're going to find a ton of girls there that love Americans, guys, that love foreigners. And so all of these guys are Americans that are popping up on the screen here. They're all clients of ours. Girls love foreigners. Mexican women do really respect and value the Western culture. It's new to them. There's obviously a financial benefit of coming from the States. And let's be real, like, you might hear that and you're like, well, Joel, you just said like the girls in Colombia are looking for money. It sounds like the girls in Mexico are looking for money. Any girl you meet is going to want to find a guy that is financially secure. All right. That's just a fact. And a lot of you guys that are going to come down here have resources to you. But in the States, that's all your value is based upon, is how much money you have. Or the girl has a lot of money too, so you're kind of like insignificant and they don't need you. And part of a masculine feminine dynamic is you want the women to rely on you and to depend on you and to trust you and to take care of her. That's what I'm looking for. I want a girl that values the work I put in and appreciates when I take her out and we go out for dinner and I pay the bill. Like that keeps me motivated, and you don't get that in the States. So here you find that your money is actually appreciated instead of, looked at as just like a means to an end or something that just indicates who you are as a person. You don't get that here with these feminine women. So back to the approach, we're vibing, we're talking. So many people are coming from the States because they're like, I'll go up and talk to a cute girl, and then she'll take out her phone and put me on TikTok. Like that kind of energy. Or they'll be really rude. Like, what do you want? Like, why are you talking to me?
Well, I think that's true about America just in general.
Yeah.
Very much more off, what is it, standish?
Off, yeah.
Like I'm off standish more when in the States.
What's the word? Standoffish.
Standoffish. I was like,
I was like, off standish. I haven't heard that one before, but it sounds familiar. And so as you can hear, guys, we are literally talking about the topic of this video. That was one of the coolest things about this approach. She understood the struggles that American guys like yourself and myself have faced in the past in regards to talking to women in the USA. So it was a really cool moment. And women in Mexico are gonna understand that. They're gonna understand that dynamic of how whack it is when you explain it to them. And so it feels like when you're dating in Mexico, like you have someone on your side. You have someone that actually gets you instead of somebody that's going to argue anything you say about the modern dating world. Here's the craziest part. We do dating coaching. So,
dating coaching?
Yeah.
For expats?
See.
To date Mexicans?
Yes. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Nice.
It's kind of interesting. Loki could be very controversial, but interesting.
You saw it in the beginning of the video. I told her I do dating coaching and she lit up. She was super interested. And in the States, could you imagine most of the responses you get if you said that in the United States? Like, oh my God, you teach guys how to pick up. Oh my God, you're like the ball guy. And you know what I'm talking about. All those kind of like objections. And here, every girl I've told, including on dates, that what I do, they've been super supportive of it. They're super curious. They're thankful almost because they understand that in the Mexican culture, guys, that the guys typically can be a bit insecure. They call it machismo. They're very controlling and it comes out of insecurity. They're typically not kind. They're typically quite feminine. And so as you come down here as a masculine guy and as well, maybe you're not fully where you want to be in terms of your own masculinity, but you're developing it, you're learning it. You realize how much a Mexican woman will appreciate that. Or just women down here in general, like this girl, like she's from America, she's from Texas, but she's still appreciating my masculine energy. And that's probably one of the reasons she came down here in the first place, is because she wanted that in her life. And maybe she was tired of the whole dynamic of the USA. You could tell she had a little bit of it. She had some moments where she was, testing me a little bit, and she was, grinding my gears, but it was in a very fun, playful way. It wasn't like there wasn't malice behind it. You're able to make light heart of it. She even called me out here.
You're assuming so much about me.
Yeah, and I'm getting a lot of her. She realized how many assumptions I was doing on her. Like my shtick was up, but I played it off very cool, and she laughed about it, and we just moved on. Right? So attractive women here are going to understand when a guy is flirting with them, but unlike in the States where they're going to maybe judge you for it, here they're actually going to appreciate it and then want to date you for it. They're like, wow, a guy who kind of gets it. Like, we appreciate that. The other thing, guys, too, is if you're an American or Canadian coming down here, even someone from Europe, they really value gringos. They really value, especially guys with white skin. So, if you're a white guy, you have an advantage over me, and I do quite well. So know that you're going to even have a higher boost when you come down here and you show that you're American. That's why I teach that you should open with a, hey, do you speak English? In English, because you really want to get that point across that you are American. If you guys are in dating apps, like have some fun. Jaron, our other head coach in MaxPat Dating, is an online dating expert, and he's going to help you build your dating profile so you can get more matches than you can even believe. We had a guy come down recently. He's 54. We're going to call him Billy. And in a week of setting up his Tinder, he had dozens of matches. He put on his passport mode before he came down here. And then he got down here and he had a date the second night he was here. He had to start disqualifying girls because he had too many girls he was seeing. And he's 54 from New York. So that just shows you how much success you can have down here. And he was tired of the US. He didn't want to date and marry a girl from the USA. And then I'm here to help you guys with cold approach. I've developed a plug and play system that you can implement directly into your cold approach. whether in person here in Mexico or wherever you are in the world. What I teach guys will make a difference no matter where you are. And so I invite you to fill out an application to work with me or Jaren personally. And so you can start dating the women that you really want and building that dream dating life. So at this point, we're kind of vibing a bit, right? We're talking about the fact that we're both from the US. It was crazy. She actually used to go to a town that is like 10 minutes away from Madison, Wisconsin. I drove through there all the time. And I went to the gym there. And so it was like it was a very interesting moment. As you can see here, we're talking about food. She's going back to the States. I'm kind of quizzing her a bit. Really open-ended questions are really good, guys. So a tip you can take away is say like, if you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go? Or if you can only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would you eat? Instead of what most guys ask is, what do you like to eat? What's your favorite food? Do you like to travel? Right? You see the difference in there? It makes it a lot more engaging, a lot more flirtatious, and a lot more playful. And guys, why Mexico City is so powerful too is because a lot of guys, and you might be one of those guys, you still want to date American women. You still want to date white girls. I grew up in a small town in Wisconsin, 10,000 people. I was surrounded by white girls, so I definitely had a white girl complex when I started dating. I had a girlfriend for like, I don't know, a year in high school. So it's what I always wanted. And until coming to Mexico, that changed. But I found that here you have the opportunity to meet English speaking women. They're going to help you be able to scratch that itch and maybe help overcome that belief that white girls don't like me. I know a lot of you guys have that, even you white guys, Indian guys in particular, Asians for sure. And what you realize down here is like, okay, you can approach an American girl and she's going to be sweet to you. She's going to be feminine. She's going to be kind. You guys might even get a date, right? So if you have it, you get to overcome that inferiority complex around white women. I had it big time. And yeah, I went to Poland to try to figure it out, right? And I did end up having success there. So it did scratch that itch. But I didn't know about Mexico City at the time. I was there about 3 months. And what I found was Mexico City was even easier than Poland. And Poland is known as Seven Heaven because you're going to find whatever seven you want there, who's blonde and cute. Yep, she's going to be there. But thankfully, Jaren invited me to live down here. And I was originally thinking like, yeah, I'm going to come for like maybe a couple months, check it out a bit, maybe improve my dating a little bit, but then eventually save up some money and go back to Poland. Within 2 weeks, I had a 4-girl rotation. These are a couple of the girls I was dating. And I couldn't believe it. It was like kind of a dream come true. And I was like, yeah, I'm staying here for sure. This is awesome. Funny enough, I got my heart broken pretty quickly as well. But it was such a huge learning lesson. And it really expedited my journey because I really learned quickly what it was like to date a very feminine woman that did not put up with insecurity, that did not put up with a lack of masculinity on my part. They will forgive you, we're not perfect and they're not always perfectly feminine. But what I really learned quickly is that, okay, I gotta be sharp. I gotta be stepping more into who I am. So not only is it easy for dating, it's easy for self-development. Mexico City, you're gonna get to grow at a rate that would take you maybe 10 years in the States. Where I am now, I didn't even think I could possibly get there. And Mexico City was such a growth accelerator for me. I was able to get more dates. I was able to get more dates. I was able to improve my cold approach, and I kept getting positive reinforcement too. And that's the big thing. And I wanted to touch on that because a lot of people might think and hear that, oh, you're saying Mexico is easy. Dude, I don't want easy. Like, I work hard. I want to feel like I accomplished something and that I put in the effort. And I totally get that, guys. I was the same way, man. That's why I probably stayed in the States longer than I would have liked, because I kept thinking I had to prove something to myself, that I had to conquer the hardest ladder to feel successful. And the thought of something being easy felt kind of gross to me. And then I went to Poland, and then I went to Mexico. And then I'm like, oh, like easy doesn't mean bad. And that's a mindset shift I invite you guys to think about if this is something that you're struggling with, is that easy doesn't mean weak. Think about any profession. Once you master a craft, it becomes easy. Bon Jovi gets up on stage and he crushes it. To him, the show is probably easy. He probably doesn't have to think about him playing or whatever. But do you look down on that and think that he's a weak person for mastering his craft and being able to shred on the guitar? Absolutely not. A lot of you guys are into fitness, right? So if you've been working out for over a year and you have some muscle on you, you can bench 135. A plate on each side. Maybe you can even rep it out for 8. 15 reps of 135 for me is easy. But I don't think that diminishes my gains. I don't think that makes me weak. I don't think, you know what I mean? Like, it just, like, it makes me strong because I'm able to do that. And so that's the mindset I want you guys to think about when you're thinking about dating and something being easy. That a lot of you guys have put in the work in the States. You have been working on your dating journey, leveling up your look, your finance, your career, getting a good profile together, fashion, all of that. You've put work in, but now it's time to find a place where you can actually be rewarded for that. You can make those gains that you want and that you can actually, build some muscle properly. Aaron Rodgers can throw an 80-yard pass, but you're not like, wow, that's so weak, dude. That's freaking easy for him. And this approach here to you guys, you might be like, wow, dude, that seems really easy for Joel. But you all understand that it took me a long time to get there, and it took a lot of work, and it took a lot of effort and discipline. Same with you and your cold approaching. So there's just a moment where you're kind of like, hey, I want the juice to be worth the squeeze. We want to be somewhere where we're valued and where we're appreciated. So continuing on, we're vibing at this point.
Last week before I go back to the States for a while, actually.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Girls trip.
Tell me about it.
We're going to go to San Diego.
Okay.
And then I'm going to visit some college friends in Denver.
Cool.
Yeah.
How long are you going?
Like 2 to 4 weeks.
Okay, nice. Now you got to tell me, what are you most looking forward to eating when you get back to the States? What's the first thing you're going to eat when you get back to the US?
Oh, I really haven't thought about it.
It's a big question.
To the States? Like Texas?
You can hear, guys, too, I'm starting to ask her some questions. And I think it's really important to balance assumptions and questions. If you ask too many questions, again, you can come off dry and boring. But if you do too many assumptions, like she kind of even called me out a little bit, it can come off sometimes too gamey. And so a big thing we see guys new into cold approach make is that they think it has to be flirty the whole entire time. In the beginning, absolutely yes. That's how you attract her. That's how you get her hooked and you get her into you. You're a fun guy, and this is going to be worth having a conversation with. But at some point, you got to bring a little normalcy. And so you show her as well that you're just a normal dude at the same time. You're not this like pickup guy. You're not always running lines, because they'll sense that too, especially feminine women. Like, it's funny in the States, like even if you say hi, they'll be like, oh, he's trying to pick me up, right? So that's like an extreme example. Here, a feminine woman will still understand when you're trying to game her. The difference is they just want you to do that. They want you to be flirtatious and date them. But again, a lot of girls are looking for something long-term, and so they want a little bit of normalcy. Mexico isn't just easy for learning cold approach and for online dating. It's actually easy mode as well for finding a relationship. A lot of guys we work with come down and be like, I want to meet my future wife. I want to meet a girl that I can build something with. That's what I want. I've been seeing someone personally for over a month, and it's going very well. I'm really liking the direction it's headed in. She's very feminine. She's very sweet, very supportive. The list can go on and on. And so that's what I want. And I feel so happy that I'm finally meeting somebody that fits that. And so I don't think I would have found a girl like her in the States. And if I did, it would have been a very lucky instance. And I would probably have done triple the amount of approaches, and it'd be another 6-7 years. So do you know what I mean? Like, if you want a relationship, if that's something you're looking for, you're going to find that a lot easier and a lot faster than you would in the United States and Canada, even in London or anywhere in the West. Some won't date you, of course. Some will give you their number because they're just in the moment and they thought you were really attractive. And there's also an element of some girls are a little nervous and they don't want to say no. There's going to be both of that. Some girls will say they have boyfriends. And I know in the States, a lot of you guys get that, and it's a complete lie, and you can sense it. And I had a little bit of that PTSD too when I started cold approaching in Mexico City. And then I would still I would still get their Instagram, because what I always say is, hey, no worries, like, he beat me to it, but if something changes, let me know. And then I still grab their Instagram. And what I found is that I would get their Instagram and they would have their boyfriend as their profile picture. So they weren't lying. They're honest people here. That's a huge thing we experienced in the States is, a lot of the rejection is personal. It was very difficult for me to detach from that and really start to believe that it wasn't personal. People would say that. I would hear that on a YouTube video and I'd be like, cool, man. Like, it still feels personal to me. Once you come down here and you start to see that when you get so many wins, and then the ones that do reject you do it very kindly, very gently. Sometimes, like I just said, they are honest and they say they have a boyfriend. You feel like, wow, like this person is like a respectful person, and I can walk away still feeling proud, even though I didn't get a number or we're not going to have a date. She still sensed something in me that was masculine, and she respected it, and she rewarded me for it by being honest. So another reason why cold approach in Mexico is not easy mode, because they actually help build you up and help you feel more confident in yourself as you are going out and you're learning cold approach and you're developing the skill. And I know a lot of you come from successful backgrounds. You're in business, you're in finance, you work remotely, digital nomads. And so you have a high standard for yourself. And so you want to receive that and get the validation that your work pays off, like in your careers. One of the great things, speaking of careers, that comes from dating in Mexico City is the time zones, right? When I was in Poland, that's one of the reasons I won't go back, is because I'm 8 hours ahead of everybody else. And so when I met Jaron, it'd be 10 o'clock for him at night and it'd be 5 in the morning for me. And so I was up all night waiting for our call when he was just getting ready for bed. So it was a very different dynamic. And here, what's so great about Mexico City is that it's 4-hour flight from Chicago, pretty much a 3 to 4 hour flight to any of the major cities, which is absolutely fantastic. I was in Chicago last week. I went home to see my family. 4-hour flight, 2-hour drive back to Wisconsin. I was home. Right? Super simple, super easy. If you do have to commute back and forth through the US, it's a cakewalk. And then because of that, you get to have your meetings in the day. I know that's super important for you guys. So then you can actually enjoy the nights. You can go out on dates. You're not having a whacked up sleep schedule. We're in mountain time right now. Mexico City is interesting. They don't do daylight savings time anymore. So we oscillate between mountain and central. I like mountain better personally, but hey, so if you come down here relatively soon, you'll be in mountain time. It's a beautiful country, and that's why we made this channel and love speaking about this topic with you guys, because we see how so many men have come down here and absolutely changed their dating life. Guys that had a lot of money and thought they were just going to get rich and women would just come to them. Nope. Guys that have tried out in the States and have worked really hard in learning their skill and just felt like they were scratching teeth. Canada as well. One of our good buddies came from Canada and he felt so depressed. He felt so lonely. He's like, I feel worthless. I feel like a loser. And he's a good looking guy and he has a lot of money. He's very successful. And he's like, I came down here and I had 100 bubble matches in a week and I was on dates every single night and girls like me and respect me here. Dude, this is my home. I think this is an absolute sleeper city. A lot of people don't know about it. A lot of guys are going to Colombia, Medellin, like I said earlier, they're trying out Thailand, Philippines, and a lot of them have absolutely successful dating lives there. A lot don't though, and a lot think they are going to get something magical when they go to those places and they end up getting a girl with something between her legs. Let's just say that. So we don't want that for you guys. We want you guys to come somewhere where you can start dating the women of your dreams, the beautiful women that you've always wanted, help you overcome those doubts, overcome those insecurities, and start to see yourself as a high value man who puts in work and who achieves what he wants in life and then adds value to those in his life as well. Here, traditionality is so key, so that it's such a culture shock when you realize how easy dating is in Mexico City, because they just value what dating is. They value men, they value a connection, they value family, they value building relationships. And in the States, as you know, it's very independence focused. It's very, it's just backwards. It is rare to find somebody, especially in a bigger city, that wants something stable and long term. You kind of have to go kind of the boondocks for that, to out in the middle of nowhere, maybe like small town in Wisconsin. Even then, you're going to get that energy seeping in there as well. So coming down here, completely different vibe, guys. And you'll even get to date pretty American girls too. So no matter what you're looking for, there's going to be a girl here for you that can help you advance your own self-development and that you can have a great time with. And if all this seems kind of too good to be true, hey, don't worry. I thought that too until I came down here. And we are absolutely here 100% to help you on that journey. We have a plug-and-play system that you can adopt directly into your cold approach journey, as well as your online dating with Jaron, to help you start dating the women that you really want, build your dream dating life on your terms, and the rest is going to be history. So you can fill out an application below in the description to work with us personally, whether you want to improve your dating life where you are right now or make a trip down to Mexico to see what it's like. And maybe you're already planning to move. We're here to help you, and we're here to help you live the dating life of your dreams.